They're now engaging in just outright intimidation because they couldn't do what they wanted to do with the election system. They couldn't do what they wanted to do with the court system. They couldn't do what they wanted to do by hijacking our education process. So now they want to scare you into submission, and they want you to deem yourself vanquished and defeated. Last night on Martha McCallum, I saw one of the most, and Joe agreed with me before the show because he gets to cut the video, one of the most disturbing pieces of video I've ever seen. How the individual who claims to represent the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, the what do we want dead cops, when do we want them now movement, the Marxists, how he got away with this on television and is not under investigation right now for making basically terrorist threats. I am seriously not unsure. Joe asked me the same thing before the show. Let me get to the clip and you can decide for yourself. But this guy, Hank Newsom, was on last night with Martha McCallum, and the interview just went off the rails. Not Martha's fault, but went off the rails immediately. Check this out. It's amazing.
I didn't say you want to burn it down. I said if this country doesn't give us what we want, then we will burn down this system and replace it. All right. And I could be speaking figuratively. Okay. I could be speaking literally. It's a matter of interpretation. Like, let's be very real and let's observe the history of the 1960s.
What did I tell you yesterday? I said it on Hannity's show last night on Fox 2. Folks, listen, you need to put horse blinders on right now and see straight ahead what this is. Don't be distracted by shiny red objects or anything else. You need to look straight ahead and see crystal clear what's going on right now. This is a Marxist movement full of people who have embraced violence to the point where they're on national television in front of 2+ million viewers on Martha McCallum's show. I don't even know how many more online. And they are now openly making terrorist threats to burn down the system if they don't get what they want. His words, not mine. His words. The clip is his. I'm not putting words in his mouth. If we don't get what we want, we will burn down the system. And then he says, in case there was any confusion, Joe, instead of saying and trying to take the edge off an open threat, it's not veiled. That's an open threat. Give us what we want or we're going to burn the system down. Instead of saying, listen, I don't mean that literally. What does he say next? He says, I could mean that literally or figuratively. It's open to interpretation.
Right.
What? Meaning you could actually mean you're going to literally meaning burn things down? Commensurate with what's happened, by the way, in a lot of American cities where things have burned down. You just had a guy on television just make a terrorist threat. By the way, and didn't put any qualifiers in it at all. He's like, no, it could mean that. It could very well mean I'm going to burn it down. You folks, you heard it. It's not my interpretation of it. It's what he said. He said, yes, this could mean literally. I said last night, the left has figured out the election process for them doesn't work. They hate democracy. They want to force upon you the confiscation of your money, confiscation of your health care, confiscation of your education system, confiscation of the social media ecosystem, and full speech suppression. The left are the tyrants. They have always been the tyrants. You don't believe me? There's a book by Fred Siegel, Revolt Against the Masses. One of the best books I've ever read. I always tease other people's books. Describes to you completely, it's one of Andrew Wilkow's favorite books too, completely and thoroughly how the left has always been the party of tyranny. They hate the middle class. That's why the book is called Revolt Against the Masses. It's a history of the left, not the right. The left hates the middle class. Can't stand you. They want to take your money, your health care, the education system, and your ability to speak freely and challenge them. It didn't work through the education system. It didn't work through the courts, their hijacking of the courts. It didn't work through the election process and getting their tyrants elected. Why? Because as I read to you about 2 years ago, a quote, an enemy isn't vanquished until it deems itself so. You're never defeated until you believe you're defeated and you've given up. You may be losing the battles. You may be losing the war. You may be losing the skirmishes. But as long as you keep fighting, the fight is not over. You understand? It's not a complicated thought, but it is for the left. That's why when people email me, if I may, again, take a point of personal privilege here, we get a lot of emails on the show from people saying, hey, I'm giving up, I'm done. A lot. Luckily, about 90% of the emails are, I'm not giving up, I'm ready to go. But about 10% of them are, I'm done, I'm giving up, I can't take it anymore. You understand that's exactly what they want? They want you demoralized, beaten down, physically and mentally broken. Because an enemy is not defeated until he deems himself so. They want you to deem yourself defeated. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what happens, no matter what they tax us, no matter what they do to our healthcare, no matter how badly they damage our institutions, no matter what statues they rip down, no matter what they burn down, no matter how much they target you with violence, and actual violence and an online assaults and just character assassination, no matter what they do, until you deem yourself defeated, you are not. The fight goes on. They want to pound you into submission. Don't let them do it. They're now engaging in just outright intimidation because they couldn't do what they wanted to do with the election system. They couldn't do what they wanted to do with the court system. They couldn't do what they wanted to do by hijacking our education process. So now they want to scare you into submission, and they want you to deem yourself vanquished and defeated.
You just heard Dan Bongino.